Hey everyone, I'm Faye Chappell, and this is the Sunday Spark, powered by the City Media Group, my production company that brings you your weekly boost of actionable insight and just enough sass to keep you awake. Today's episode is all about inbox alchemy. It's turning email chaos into clarity. And over the next little time you're going to spend with me, we're going to cover Neuroscience 101, why every ping hijacks your dopamine and drains you from everything that is important. The 3-layer email fence. This is a blueprint to slash your inbox time by 40%. We'll do a little bit of war stories, case studies, and a whole lot more. So get ready. We're going to turn that chaos into clarity. Let's spark this. Hey there, welcome to the Sunday Spark, where we ditch those Sunday scaries and ignite some serious inspiration before the work week. I'm Faye Chappell, your semi-sassy guide and the founder of the Regeneration Company, and I'm here to help you crush burnout, brainstorm big ideas, and remember that success should actually feel good. So grab your coffee, strap in, and let's spark some insight. Welcome everyone, it is the Spark. Yes, it's the Spark, and today is all about inbox alchemy. Who doesn't want to turn chaos into clarity? I know everybody thinks the same thing. How did I get here? How did I get stuck with 30,000 emails and not know where I'm going? Well, let's break this down. Let's first talk to my entrepreneurs in our Entrepreneur Corner, and I'll give you a little bit of a heads up and give you a little brief little story about Rosa. Rosa is one of my clients, and she's a solo founder on an online coaching space, and she was checking emails at all hours, living in an endless loop of pings and panic. Then she tried a radical experiment. She tried a 0 inbox Thursday. So 2 45-minute email blocks at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. and airplane mode outside of that. That's all she did on Thursday. So week 1, it was panic. Week 2, clarity. By week 4, she launched a new course module in half the usual time, and her weekly revenue jumped 22%. All because she reclaimed her 4 headline driving hours a week, right? She reclaimed her time. So here's the brain chemistry. Every email ping is a variable reward dopamine hit, right? So think of it, your brain thinks it might be good, so it checks, right? And then if it's junk, your brain crashes. And then it repeats the loop, and that loop hijacks your focus, because every time you hear that ping, you're like, oh my God, this must be something cool. And then you get disappointed. You know, Microsoft did a study where their data showed that each switch to email cost 23 minutes of refocus time. So imagine 23 minutes lost 77 times a day, essentially. That's 29 hours of wasted weekly hours, right? Wasted hours because you keep switching from focusing to moving to your email. So there's a tactical blueprint for founders on this. So to break the loop, again, Rosa used these 3 tactics. She did white space blocks, and we've talked about these before. They're calendar holds that are labeled deep work, which means there's no emails allowed. And then she did a VI push only. So she had investors and VIP clients really had a red flag filter. If you're on a Mac, you can actually do it on, it says VIP. And then everything else is batch. So the only thing she looked up for was those VIPs. And then she did an inbox pause, and you can do that with an app even. You can auto pause incoming mail outside of those blocks, right? So there's 0 temptation. So just block it and be able to say, no, and this time I don't want any emails coming through. And you can start that today. Pick 2 45-minute slots, enable airplane mode for the rest of the time, and then really watch your creativity come back to surface. So for my corporate folks, let's give you another case study. At SAP's Engineering Hub in Germany, they piloted what they called Focus Fridays. So there was no internal meetings and only deep work. We have been talking about deep work for weeks and weeks now. email was discouraged until the afternoon. And what was their result? They had a sprint cycle time that shrank to 21%, and sick days dropped 17% in one quarter. Proof that silence can outperform synergy meetings, right? And across the pond, I believe it was Deloitte in New Zealand, I think, they implemented a batch window system. So 1 hour at 10 a.m. and 1 hour at 3 p.m. for all non-urgent emails, right? So new hire turnover went down 9% and partner billable hours rose by 6%. That's because people actually had the mental bandwidth to deliver quality work and enjoy what they were doing. So if you lead a team, you can start here. You can do a digital detox hour. That's a company-wide email shutdown, and that's 1 hour per week. Just let minds recharge, right? And you can lead by examples. Executives, they must publicly commit to their own no email windows, right? Which means they can't send them either. And quarterly Zen sprints. So we can choose 1 week a quarter with morning deep work blocks and optional afternoon check-ins, right? Build a culture that really values people's time and their thinking, and then the metrics will absolutely follow. And on your personal side, there's lots to learn here. Have you ever seen that groggy drag on Monday? You know, your bedtime email check is the culprit. That's what happens because you're checking it late at night, and then on the Monday morning you feel so drained. Well, Stanford has a well-being lab. Who knew, right? And they show that banning screens 30 minutes pre-sleep drops cortisol by 32% and rises next day focus by 18%. So that's a small change, but a big payoff. It's only 30 minutes that you actually ban looking at your emails before you go to sleep. I know it's a tricky one. It's hard for me too, but it can be done. So here's your personal 3-layer fence, okay? So VIPs, you want to mark your emails in your email server. VIPs, you can mark it red, and you can have that's for your spouse, your key clients, and those notifications can stay on, right? Anyone that's a VIP that you think must come through and you must see it at that time. And then you do a batch, you maybe call it color amber. Those are for newsletters, internal threads, anything that you just check twice a day instead of fully, right? And then you can have an archive rule and color it green. So archive rules confirms that anything that's CC'd or older than 14 days are out of sight, but they're never lost, right? You can set this up in 10 minutes and you can certainly feel that inbox shrink. A lot of the servers, Gmail and Macmail, I know, have different categories that you can change it so that you don't look it. I know at first when Apple put this through, I wasn't sure I liked it and I left all my categories together. But what I recognized was it was a whole lot better to have my receipts in one, my promotional emails in one. And so then I only did check those tabs that I knew weren't important. I only checked those once a day. Whereas before I was going through everything to try to find it. And then finally, let's go back to that 30 minutes prior to sleeping. We can do a quick bedtime ritual. It could be a 4-2-6 purge breath, right? So you inhale for 4, you hold for 2, and then you exhale for 6. You do it about 8 to 10 rounds, and then swipe your last email, put on the phone on airplane mode, or on the bathroom counter or in the other room. The phone can wait because your brain needs a break. So breath work in the morning and the night really sets you up. If you want to join us to learn that further, come join me on my YouTube channel on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. We work on a lot of different breath work, but this is a quick one for you to do so that you can start really creating clarity from all that chaos, right? There's a really great quote that says, email is where focus goes to die unless you build fences, right? Fences don't isolate you. They liberate you to do the work that matters. That's important, right? So here's your Inbox Alchemy to-do list for the week ahead. I want you to block 2 45-minute email windows tomorrow. Go ahead and do it. 2, you want to enable airplane mode outside of those windows. Airplane mode, do not disturb, whichever one you want. I want you to build those 3-layer fences in your inbox settings, which means you're setting up categories, right? And you're only getting disturbed when you want to. And then I want you to practice the 4-2-6 purge breath when you feel your anxiety spike because you're just reading too many emails. And please share your before or afters, or tell me what went on. Go ahead and hashtag Inbox Alchemy. Absolutely tag me. I'd love to see how you're doing. And then imagine tomorrow's inbox greeting you with 8 messages, not 800. That is alchemy. So share this episode with a colleague that's drowning in pings, and join us next week because we're going to talk about decision detox. We're going to talk about cutting choice fatigue. So if this gave you clarity, then leave a quick review. And once your inbox window opens, of course, I want to make sure that you're doing everything you can. So I'm Faye Chappell. This was Sunday Spark. Build fences, keep focus, and I will see you next week. Well, you've just had your Sunday Spark. How's that for a power-packed start to the week? If you're ready for more tips, laughs, and let's get real moments, be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with all of your friends and your crew. Got questions, insights, or just want to say hey? Well, head over to my website, faychappell.com, or any of the social media feeds, and I will be with you there. Until next time, keep that spark alive, and remember, your best life doesn't just happen. You have to create it.